Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you. Over.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Delusions of Grandeur. Here is another episode of What's in My Room. This is episode number 32, I believe, or should I continue it as part 1 or part 2? Let's do part 2. Because these were all part of the same couple of boxes. So yeah. So first up, I have an American guinea pig bouquet and of guts and gore. It is signed by Stephen Biro. It is the 3-disc limited edition of Bouquet of Guts and Gore. Next I have American Exorcist. This is from Gravitas Venturis. Hope to Die. This one is a Twilight Time video called American Buffalo, directed by Michael Corrente. Evidently, those are supposed to be like really cool Blu-rays, supposedly. Next, I have another Gravitas Ventures film called Alpha Wolf. That's on Blu-ray. It's directed by Kevin Van Hook. Looks like it might be entertaining. Then I ended up getting an upgrade of Aeon Flux with Charlize Theron, an overly used actress, but she is a very good actress. Next, I have All Nighter DVD, the fastest way to get over an ex. Stay up all night with her dad, with J.K. Simmons and Emile Hirsch. Should be entertaining. Next, I have a sealed copy of Aftermath from Unearthed Entertainment. That's got Aftermath, Genesis, and the Awakening of Nacho Cielas. It's probably my second copy. Next, I have Alamo Drafthouse's Clown, the funniest film of the year. And that's directed by Mikkel Norgard. Looks Vikingish. Norwegian, possibly. Next, I have a trilogy of La Llorona. This is La Llorona the Whaler, La Llorona 2, The Whalers 2, and La Llorona 3, The Whaler 3. This is the Whaler trilogy, La Llorona trilogy. Should be interesting. I'm going to stick that in my W's over here. Eventually, that might come up on my W's video. Next, I have Ma. That was a fun film. That is direct. That's got Octavia Spencer in it, and it's directed by Tate Taylor, but it has Get Out's directors Yeah, it's from the producers of Get Out and Halloween. So that was a Black Friday pickup, I believe. Next, I have a small collection thing. I think I picked this up from Half Price Books, I believe, or something like that. It's Lash LaRue, an American Cowboy Legend collector set. It's got 12 movies: Dead Man's Gold, Mark of the Lash, Frontier Revenge, Outlaw Country, Son of Billy the Kid, Son of a Bad Man, The Daltons Women, King of the Bullwhip, The Thundering Trail, The Vanishing Outpost, the Black Lash, and The Frontier Phantom. And I've watched at least one of these, and they almost feel like they're a cliffhanger series. That might have been like 12 or so episodes. Next, I have Arrow's Colobos. Not the limited edition, but definitely one that came out recently, not too recently, in any case. Next, I have Crazy Ethel. I found this for $5 on eBay, and it's a sequel to Criminally Insane, which believe I have a copy of that around here somewhere too. And it's directed by Brian Dorton. In 1975, Nick Millard introduced us to Crazy Fat Ethel, the cult drive-in horror classic Criminally Insane. Fast forward more than 40 years later, writer-director Brian Dorton insists that it's time to revisit this larger-than-life character in an all-new revision. After a scandal in a mental institution, Ethel, played by Dixie Gears, is taken in by her Aunt Joyce, played by Jenny Coulter. Many people, including the head nurse, played by Kelly Ellis, and a determined detective, Bill Nugent, believe that letting Ethel leave the hospital was a huge mistake. Pun intended. And that's actually a Blu-ray. So, let's see. Where can I put that? Right down there. Next, I have Joy. Evidently, this was up for Oscars like a couple years ago. It's got Jennifer Lawrence, Robert De Niro, and Bradley Cooper in it. Next, I have Arrow's Jake Speed. That might be fun. That's directed by Andrew Lane. This is from Code Red, Chaos, and Don't Look in the Basement. And that looks like the original double bill that they might have been on. That's a Blu-ray from Code Red, I believe. Well, it's still from Dark Forces. So. Next, I have a Japanese film called Chasing the Dragon. The road to the top is paved in blood, and Donnie Yen is in here with a special appearance by Andy Lau. and it's directed by Wang Jing and Jason Kwan. So that's interesting. Next, I have Count Yorga Vampire on Twilight Blue. That should be interesting. It's directed by Bob Keljan. Next, I have the Blu-ray of Closing Time, which I hope to eventually view. That's by the way directed by Jim Roberts. Jim Roberts. That's his newest. Next, I have Cop Killers and Project Kill from Code Red. And actually, it says Dark Force, but it's still Code Red. Alrighty, next I have Dark Zone 13, which I have executively produced. That's my second copy, but as you can see, I've executively produced it. Next I have Darkness, the vampire version. Cutter's Way. That's a Twilight Blue. That's directed by Yvonne Cassier. Cub. Which, trying to figure out who directed this one. It doesn't really say. But it's from Belgium. Oh, it's a film directed by Jonas Govets. And it says, Be Prepared to Die. It's from Exploitation Films. And this is a Blu-ray. Criminal Activities, directed by Jackie Earl Haley, with Michael Pitt, Dan Stevens, and John Travolta. Looks like it might be cool. Next I have Twilight Times, The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And that's directed by Roger Corman. Next I have Arrows in the Aftermath. And this is a film that's directed by Carl Kolpert? Kolpert. That should be interesting. Severin's Invasion of the Blood Farmers. Stick that up there. And these, I'll have to stick up there eventually. This was a Black Friday pickup. This is Brightburn. That's the Blu-ray DVD combo of that. That's directed by David Yurovesky. And that was kind of an anti-superhero kind of a film. Very cool that I ended up getting it picked up. Next, I have another film that I executively produced, Bride of the Werewolf. I have it on DVD and I have it on Blu-ray, but this is the DVD copy, and it's produced by David Sterling and directed by Mark Polonia. Next, I have Breeders Blu-ray. That's a Code Red. It's a cool cover, too. And then this is Vinegar Syndrome's Blood Harvest. That's actually been many names, but it's directed by a Wisconsin director by the name of Bill Rebane. And he, for the longest time, was sending out a cease and desist uh, thing to Vinegar Syndrome to quit releasing it because he evidently thought that he had the rights to it, and he did not. The Vinegar Syndrome people actually picked up the copy very legally, and it was due to mistakes of Bill Rebane's own history that many of his films have escaped his own copyright of it. So, if you don't keep up on copyright, then it becomes public access. So, there we have the Blood Harvest Blue. All right, next I have one of the films dealing with Bionicle. The Legend is Reborn, or The Legend Reborn. This is another Vinegar Syndrome pickup. It's called Beyond Evil. Next, I have a Japanese flick. It's directed by, I believe, Hong Ye-young Su Jae-young, and it's called Believer. And it says, to catch the devil, trust a sinner. So that should be interesting to watch. Next, I have the Blu-ray and the DVD of a movie from Arrow called The Dead Center. Was written and directed by Billy Sinise. So there's the Blu-ray. And there's the DVD. Next I have The Dancers Upstairs. That's directed by John Malkovich. And it stars Javier Bardem, Laura Morante, and Juan Diego Botto. Next I have, let's see, I already have this, but I decided to pick up a spare. The Vincent Price MGM Screams Legends collection, and it's got Tales of Terror, Twice Told Tales, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, Dr. Phibes Rises Again, Theater of Blood, Madhouse, Witchbinder General, and a bonus disc called Vincent Price Collection Disc of Horrors. Now, I already have this somewhere, so but I decided to pick it up again. So next I have The Dark Days of Demetrius, a film by Dakota Ray. The Dark Days of Dimitri, the sixth full-length feature from Denver auteur filmmaker Dakota Ray, is a disturbing lo-fi horror film revolving around the exploits of Demetrius, an elusive narcissistic serial killer who has gained stardom from live streaming the murders of his victims online, with the press dubbing him as the live stream killer. Conflict arises when Demetrius crosses paths with corrupt news reporter Clive, played by Fred Epstein, which results in a cinematic descent into evil, violence, death, narcissism, and corruption. So there we have the DVD of The Dark Days of Dimitri. Next, I have Arrows, the Iguana, and the Tongue of Fire. This seems to be a Japanese film of sorts. Never watched it. And apparently it's a film directed by Ricardo Frida. It's a movie from Kino Lorber. It's called The House That Would Not Die. Stars Barbara Stanwyck, Richard Egan, Michael Anderson Jr., and Kitty Wynn. And it's directed by John Llewellyn Moxey. Evidently, this is a 2K master of the film. And this is a Code Red, also known as Dark Forces Blu-ray of The House That Vanished and The Eerie Midnight Horror Show. Yeah, I kind of like these original double build posters on these frickin' movies. Kind of interesting. All right. So this is a copy of Kino Lorber's The Incredible Two-Headed Transplant. And that is directed by Anthony M. Lanza. So that one's interesting. This is the last case of August T. Harrison, and it's directed by Ansel Farage, and it stars Jerry Lacey, Maggie Wagner, David Graham, Lisa Blake Richards, Nathan Wilson, Eric Gourlo, and Max Lindworth. And if you don't know anything about Jerry Lacey played on Dark Shadows. Give me one sec. Next, this I picked up from Half Price Books. This is an animated feature called From Inside. And it's directed by John Bergen. I should be checking that out eventually. Next, I have Freeway 2, Confessions of a Trick Baby. This is directed by Matthew Bright. This is a Dark Force entertainment film. Freeway 2. Why You Live in the Fast Lane, There's No Looking Back, with Natasha Lyonne and Vincent Gallo. Next, I have a Frankenthug, and it is signed. I had originally thought of trying to put money into this campaign, and it's by A Buck Short Productions, and it says this: Thoughts, thugs, and THC. It's just another day in the hood until a new gang rolls into town and shoots up the wrong G. Now, after a botched science experiment, a Frankenthug has risen to wreak havoc on the gang that killed him and anyone that gets in his way. Frankenthug. That looks fun. Next, I have Tony Tex Watts, the unrated director's cut of Frankenpimp, which I'm sure later this will be in my Fs. In a stone on a ring, there lives a demon. So begins this epic, erotic, sci-fi, fantasy, live-action, horror motion picture by acclaimed underground actor, filmmaker of Vixen Highway, 2006. It came from Uranus, Acid Head, The Buzzard Nuts County Slaughter, and cartoonist The Code Name King comic book graphic novel series, Tony Tex Watt. Frankenpimp stars Watt in this campy, action-packed grindhouse thriller as Patient Zero, also known as Romeo Montague, a resurrected killer pimp who does battle with his nemesis, the deadly villain, Ah Pook, a deviant, supernaturally unleashed South American death god, who, along with the evil demigoddess Killer Queen, a lustful ray gun slinging alien vampire, and her ghoulish blood sucking horror zombie army, unleashes hell in the dystopic city of Verona, New York. That should be interesting. I've watched about half of it. It's a 3-hour cut. He did not edit it. Next, I have Unearthed Films 3-disc limited edition of Francesca. Gonna check that baby out eventually. Next, I have FM from Arrow. Oh, guess what? I found the film I was looking for, and this was actually kind of cool. I think it's actually kind of based on a true story. FM. That's directed by Robert Larson. Actually, no. It's directed by John A. Alonzo. So, yeah. Next I have, and this will be on another a video entirely, besides being on my F videos. This is a black and white feature called Flesh of My Flesh. It is the second feature that this director had done. And this is on Blu-ray from Legless Corpse Films. See that LC? That's from Legless Corpse. And it's directed by Amir Skalanja. Teenage girl finds out through her dreams and hallucinations that she has a rather violent and morbid past. She sets out to right the wrong, but her journey will take her to hell and back. Flesh of My Flesh. Now I think I have found... Okay. So this is DWN's production of Fisted. And also on here as a bonus feature is Cheeseballs. Supposedly an anthology. Madness ensues in the woods when a camp troop crosses the deranged killer, the Jerkin Boy, who's been rumored to have dynamite flowing through his veins. Blood will not only spill by the fist of the Jerkin Boy, but also by the big-ass ants who live in the woods, with special appearances by Tommy Dreamer, Blowfly, Big J. Okerson, and Lloyd Kaufman. This is one camp out you will never forget. And, of course, the bonus movie of Cheeseballs, which Cheeseballs is out of print, apparently. So that's Fisted and Cheeseballs put together. Next I have Fear Not. This is directed by Nicolo Gulo with Horizon Movies. And stars Aaron Perillo, Dustin Fitzsimmons, Jennifer Simmons, and Lucas Alifano. Nothing to fear but fear itself. Fear not. Next I have Equus from Twilight Zone. or not Twilight Zone, Twilight Time Blu-ray. That's extremely expensive film right now. It's out of print, that's why. And that's directed by Sidney Lumet, or Lumet. I'll stick that over by my ease. Next I have Devil. This is a Code Red double feature Blu-ray with Devil Woman and Dragons Never Die. Next I have Death Toilet, which is from Amhidemia Films. Director Evan Jacobs. You can definitely check out my review of the film. And there is a sequel to the film as well. Next, I have Death Ship on Blue. I have several different copies of this. This is from Scorpion Releasing Films. And Death Ship is kind of a different story. But those are pretty cool. Give me 1 second here. All right. Next, I have The Assassin's Blade. This is a film that is from the director of Hero and House of Flying Daggers, The Assassin's Blade. So yeah, this is from Well Go USA. That should be entertaining. Assassin's Blade. Okay, so Mutant Chronicles. That was on Sci-Fi, but it is with Magnolia Pictures. This is the director's cut of Mutant Chronicles. It's got Ron Perlman in it. And it's a futuristic sci-fi movie. So that should be definitely entertaining. Next, I have Momo the Missouri Monster. And that is directed by Seth Breedlove. Ended up getting this one and a second. That's Momo the Missouri Monster. That's a documentary from Small Town Monsters that not too recently came out. Next, I have Mirror. With Karen Black. The new Men in Black International. That was a Black Friday pickup. Next, I have Meat Hook Massacre 1. This is from Scream Time Films. Meat Hook Massacre 2. Actually, this is 2. And that's also from Scream Time Films. Next, I have Meat Hook Massacre 3. And those three, this one, I think that's Ferguson. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that's Dustin Ferguson, I think. And then I also ended up picking up. Here is Male Violence 1, 2, and 3. Male Violence. Male Violence 2, Bereavement. And that one's signed by the director, Stephen Mina. And Male Violence 3, Killer. Those are all Blu-ray combo things. And I think that's all I'm going to go on about for in this particular episode of What's in My Box. Or What's in My Room. What's in my room? What's in my room? What was in my room? A box. So, in any case, thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, and morning, wherever you are. I appreciate your time spent checking out what I've picked up. And thank you so much. I have so much more to show you and share with you. So spend more time with me, and I'll show you exactly what's in my collection. Thank you, and have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?